Welcome to Lucerne. It's a beautiful day here on Lake Lucerne, but today I'm headed down to Lugano and back, and that means crossing the Alps twice in the same day. There's two different routes through the Alps from Lucerne and Zurich to the Italian part of Switzerland. If you're looking for the quickest, there's the Gotthard Base Tunnel, the longest and deepest railway tunnel in the world. But there's also the old Gotthard Pass line, and a dedicated Treno Gottardo that scenically winds its way through the mountains. Which one should you take? Well, in this video, I'll be doing both, back to back on the same day, and we'll conclude at the end which might be the best for your travels in Switzerland. I'm actually going to start this review not in Lucerne, but here, in Arth-Goldau. This is the point where the lines from Lucerne and Zurich converge, so there's far more frequent train services here. I actually took the Treno Gottardo from Lucerne to get here, which is what I'll be taking on the way back. But on this leg, we're going under the Alps via the Gotthard Base Tunnel. Right there is the Rigibahn, the cog railway that goes up to Mount Rigi. Another reason why I came here was to increase my chances of getting a nicer train. I was really hoping for the Treno, the newest train that forms the mainstay of the Gotthard tunnel service. When I had checked this departure the night before, it was on a Treno. But SBB, although quite punctual, was having some serious operational issues on my trip, where multiple trains I took terminated early or were equipment swapped. And sadly today, that's what happened as well. All excited for a sleek single-decker train, I found a Twindexx train instead. This is the much maligned boondoggle of a Bombardier train that is a marked step down for SBB. We'll see why in a bit. I'm taking a total of 6 Swiss trains today, so booked a Sabre Day Pass in first class for 88 Swiss francs. Switzerland has a host of different ticket combos and the half fare card, but I ran the numbers and booking a single Sabre Day Pass was cheaper. This ticket also allows you to ride on any train in the country that day, which is pretty neat. The SBB app is fantastic, likely the best transit app I've ever used. You can book tickets, add travel cards, and plan travel incredibly easily. It also walks you through the journey, showing you your connections and how to get from one platform to another. As the name suggests, the Twindexx has 2 levels. It's 1-2 in first on both levels, and I grabbed a forward-facing seat on the left side of the train. Yes, I had to schlep my suitcase up the stairs, but there's luggage storage right at the top. Seats are comfortable enough with fuzzy padding and have enough legroom. There's also power at every seat. Precisely on time, of course this is Switzerland, we headed south from Arth-Goldau. The train follows the eastern bank of Lake Lucerne. Feeling a bit hungry, I headed to the dining car for some breakfast. Every table was taken, so I sat down at a large booth in the corner. The train attendant asked if I was there for consummation. I blinked. She asked again. I think my girlfriend wouldn't appreciate me consummating with any other ladies. It took me a second to realize that she meant consumption, and I said yes, I was here to eat. Prices were a bit high, but I went for the SBB sandwich deal for just under 10 Swiss francs. It was fine and hit the spot, but not particularly exceptional. I did get a tablecloth though, so, it's classy. The train runs through, but doesn't stop at Fluen. Fluen is where the Gotthard Panorama express train boards, and I'll get back to that train later. There's only one stop before the Gotthard Base Tunnel in Altdorf. I wasn't here to see Emperor Karl Franz, so I stayed on the train. After Altdorf, the train line split, and we proceeded to hurtle into the Gotthard Base Tunnel. Obviously, there's not much to see out the window of the tunnel, so let's talk about the Bombardier Twindexx. It's a much maligned train that has all sorts of problems, from the toilets to the speed. But the main issue was that the train was initially designed to run with an active suspension system to make the ride smoother. Long story short, it didn't work and they disabled it. That means that the train shakes and is uncomfortable. Here we are going straight through the tunnel, and just look at my beverage here. After my meal, I headed back to the first class coach. Someone else had taken my now vacant unreserved seats, so I sat in one of the sideways seats. These trains travel at about 200 kilometers per hour, though they are allowed to go faster in the Gotthard Base Tunnel to make up some time. Curiously, I had good cell service the entire time in the tunnel, so it's clear that signal boosters had been installed. About 15 minutes after entering the tunnel, we emerged south of the Alps. This is the part of Switzerland that is Italian speaking, so the primary language of announcements after exiting the tunnel were in Italian. The first stop south of the Gotthard Base Tunnel is the town of Bellinzona, known for several castles on the surrounding hills. We'll be back here later in the day. After Bellinzona, it's a quick 14-minute ride to Lugano. Lugano station is at the top of a hill overlooking the town and lake, so you can take a cute little funicular down the hill to the town. And here we are on a beautiful day in Lugano. We're right up against the Italian border here, and that spot there is actually an Italian exclave. For the return journey back over the Alps via the Gotthard Pass, I needed to head back to Bellinzona, as the Treno Gottardo doesn't start in Lugano but rather in Locarno, stopping next in Bellinzona. With a quick leg to Bellinzona, I had this single-decker ICN train, which has an older style interior. After 14 minutes, I got off in Bellinzona, when the train continued up north back through the Gotthard Base Tunnel. And here comes my Treno Gottardo, a rather short orange-painted train. They run this route every hour in each direction, making them quite convenient. First class is pretty nice on the Treno Gottardo, in a 1-2 configuration in pairs and quads with ample space and charging ports. Here's some footage from the second class cabin as well, still comfortable but in a 2-2. There's no sit-down dining car on the Treno Gottardo, but instead there's a vending machine in a self-service cafe. In both classes, there's large windows, perfect for taking in the beautiful scenery. We pulled out from Bellinzona, veering off to the west as we began our journey through the Gotthard Pass. This route was first opened in 1882, and was used as a fallback when the Gotthard Base Tunnel was recently closed for repairs. The train makes many local stops at various villages along the way, including right in front of a waterfall. From Bellinzona to Arth-Goldau, it takes 2 hours and 8 minutes on the Treno Gottardo, while it only takes 54 minutes via the Gotthard Base Tunnel. The Gotthard Pass route does use a series of tunnels, but it also winds through the mountains through a series of loops and switchbacks. After the town of Airolo, the train enters the old Gotthard Tunnel, which was my cue to get ready to leave. Right after the tunnel, the train pulled into Göschenen. There's several more switchbacks and loops down the other side of the mountain back towards Altdorf and the main Swiss line. So is it worth taking the extra hour going over the Alps rather than under? I say yes, one way. The scenery was pretty nice, and the train was far less crowded than the main line. So if you're not in a hurry, I'd say go for it. Mountains are why you came to Switzerland after all, right? However, the Treno Gottardo isn't the only train that takes this route. There's also the Gotthard Panoramic Express, a tourist-only, first-class-only train that starts in Arth-Goldau and goes all the way down to Lugano. To take that, you'd need an expensive seat reservation, and there's also an optional boat cruise on Lake Lucerne, down to Fluen. There's only one departure per day in either direction, compared to the hourly service on the Treno Gottardo. And yes, while the panoramic train looks nice, the Treno Gottardo was also quite nice and had large windows, so I don't really see the need to take the tourist-only train. But while I didn't take that tourist-only train, I'm now taking the Matterhorn Gotthardbahn up to Andermatt, and while you might think I'm making a pilgrimage to the most famous site in Switzerland, I'm hopping aboard an even more famous tourist train, the Glacier Express, to see if that train is worth your hard-earned money as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.